Or you can go shopping and the guys can go.
Yeah, the guys can go and do this.
Do this
Yeah,
too, like
yeah.
little
By the way, the guys have a lot to shop too, but yeah, definitely they
There's
can
a
go and
lot.
visit.
Hi, Pavani.
Hi, Sanjana.
Hi, welcome. It's a pleasure you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me over.
You're welcome. I wanted to know about this beautiful city of Hyderabad, which is your hometown.
Yeah.
If I'm going to visit in future, it's next year only, early next year.
Right.
So what is that should be on my list? Like, what are the 5 things 5 places I should visit in Hyderabad?
So before I just jump and tell you the list of 5 places, I just want to give you like a couple of minutes,
Okay.
A little bit of background about Hyderabad. So Hyderabad as a city, you might have heard about Nizams ruling over Hyderabad, but the truth of the matter is the cities around, the towns and the area around Hyderabad was initially, it was ruled by Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire.
Okay.
So, and once Ashoka's was ill and the Satavahanas, they took over the city, and there were so many other people in the Hindu industry, like the kingdoms and rulership took over. But then eventually Hyderabad got its name because the Kuli Qutub Shah, the Nizam, actually took over Hyderabad. He's the one who named Hyderabad.
Okay.
So he married a Hindu lady.
Okay.
Her name was, I think, Bhagyanti.
Okay.
And he gave the city the name Bhagyanagar. That was the original name of Hyderabad.
Okay.
And then eventually, when the Nizams completely took over, they called it, Hyderabad.
Okay.
Hyderabad also was one of the states that joined the Indian Union after India got its independence.
Okay.
Yes, they were completely different.
Like
they
separate
were
from the Indian.
Yes, they were separate actually, because they also had a very amicable relationship with the English and French.
Oh, okay.
So the French and English people, the Nizams were very buddy system with the English clan.
Okay.
So they gave them a lot of privileges in terms of not having to pay taxes, and having the authority to rule this as a separate place.
Okay.
And only in September 17, 1948, which is actually now 75 years, was when Hyderabad got actually into the Indian state.
Sort of
Yeah, it was actually the Indian army had to go and have I don't think it was a war, but it was almost like a war where they had to take down the Nizams and take over Hyderabad into the Indian territory.
Oh,
so that's actually the background.
Okay.
Now the culture of Hyderabad is primarily, because the Nizams ruled it, the culture is completely ingrained with a lot of the Nizams.
Okay.
And without the Nizam influence, Hyderabad is never the Hyderabad that you see now. But the city, which starts at the old city, so the one of the most important and the first trips you need to make to is Hyderabad's Old City. That's where the city began from the Nizam. Because whatever the Mauryans did in the past, it's been demolished or rebuilt by the Nizams.
Okay.
So what you see all is in the Old City is all about the Nizams taking over and how they actually rebuilt it.
Okay.
So
they modified it or something.
Yes,
right?
they gave a different vibe to it, right? So the first place anybody has to visit is the Charminar.
Okay.
It is a 4-floored, I would say, architectural innovation.
Okay.
It has 4 minars,
Okay.
like really big pillars, and it's in the center of the old city. So basically, it is a huge storied, I think it's maybe, 250 feet maybe, and you have the city, all of the traffic goes under the Charminar.
Okay.
So the Charminar was erected when the city was going through a plague with cholera. So when we overcame cholera, the Nizam, I think he's the fifth Nizam, Quli Qutub Shah, he commemorated it and he built the Charminar in remembrance of that.
Okay.
So that is the first place you got to visit.
Okay, all right.
Now, around Charminar is where the old city Husbaz is. There are so many things to see over there.
Okay.
There's tons of shopping and all of the places to eat are around that too.
Okay.
Now, if you see the second story that goes on with the Charminar, it is that there is an underground tunnel from that to the second place that you have to visit, which is the Golconda Fort.
So like a train? Is that?
No, it is an underground tunnel. It's a saying. Nobody has actually gone and seen the tunnel, but there is a secret passage from that to the Golconda Fort, which is your second spot that you have to go.
Okay.
So the Golconda Fort is a really huge fort that the Nizams built back in those days, and that was the fort that protected the whole city.
City, okay.
So Hyderabad, the heritage is so popular that at the Golconda Fort is where all of the diamond merchants exchange of the diamonds used to happen.
Okay.
It was a very popular fort. Obviously, it used to protect, but also a lot of trade used to happen over there.
All right.
Now, it is an engineering marvel back in those days. So we are talking about 1500.
Okay.
This is when the Nizams actually built Hyderabad. So that's like really far, right? But the way the Golconda Fort was constructed, it had this sound engineering encompassed in it. So like if you go to the entrance of the fort and you clap a hand and you have a family member go to the topmost of the fort, you can actually hear those. So they use that system to let the people at the fort know that there is an enemy that's coming over. So it's a really amazing. So it was so popular. The Hyderabad was so popular. It was culturally very rich, but it also had a lot of pearl trading and diamond trading.
Okay.
Kohinoor, you know about the Kohinoor,
yes,
right? The Kohinoor used to reside in the Golconda Fort before it was moved out. So there were many people from Delhi, the Mughals, they knew about Hyderabad, and Aurangzeb actually came and he had invaded Hyderabad, and he was the one who actually, I think he and his people after were the ones who destroyed the Golconda Fort. So Golconda Fort now, today if you see it, it's in ruins, but they will allow you to visit it. It's a definite must-go place. Like if you go to Hyderabad and not see the Golconda Fort, it's almost like you're not looking at the true history of that city, right? So it's a must-go. So the Golconda Fort has an evening light and sound display. So that's a must-watch. So if you they close at 5 o'clock or 5:30, and then you can attend the display in the evening.
In the dark.
So you make your trip in such a way that you do it at the later part of the day, so you can do the tour and then also do the light display. So these are definitely the must go places. So the other side of the Golconda runs into the newer part of the city, where you have the Golconda golf course.
Oh, wow.
So it is an amazing golf course. It's one of the country's best, I think, and they are still expanding. A lot of our friends who have gone from here are all playing golf over there now.
Wow.
And if you have somebody who has membership at that, because the membership over there is pretty expensive, but the food there is one of the best too. They only allow members as like any other clubs. So, so those are your first two places that you should attend. Now, while you're at the Old City, it's almost like you need to come to the Old City multiple days if you want to cover everything in detail. But you can finish that in 2 to 3 days maybe. Or you can really squeeze everything in one day, but you want to cater one whole day for shopping. And I'll tell you about shopping a little later. So the third place that you have to go visit is the Chowmohallah Palace. It's a real palace of the Nizams. The Nizams used to live in the palace. So you can see like how the palace looks like. So until the 2000s, the palace was not allowed for public. But now it is allowed for public, and you can actually do events over there. Like you can do a wedding event,
Really?
You can rent out the palaces for events and such.
Okay.
So that is a must watch. Back in those days, so the Chowmohallah Palace also has a great history. It's one of the prime ministers who built that. So he visited England, and he was really loved the architecture of the English. So he wanted something that resonates with the English castles in Hyderabad. So he built the Chowmohallah Palace. I think, is that the one or the Falaknuma? So there's another palace too, Falaknuma. I don't want to get mixed up in both. And both are worthy of going. The Falaknuma Palace, maybe the Falaknuma Palace, that's the modern palace that was built by the prime ministers to encompass like an English looking
like
palace. But recently in the year 2000, the Taj hotels took over the Falaknuma Palace.
Oh.
And Falaknuma Palace is also the place where there were two movies that got filmed over there. One is the newest one, Radhe Shyam. You've seen the Radhe Shyam?
Yeah.
That and also KGF.
Okay.
Both were filmed in the Falaknuma Palace.
Okay.
So when you are at the Old City, you make sure that you do the Chowmohallah Palace and the Charminar and the Golconda Fort. Now, while you're at the Charminar, there are many things to do. There's a lot of food also, which we will cover in the next segment. But there's two bazaars. Actually, there are three bazaars, I would say. Around. So there are thousands of shopping places.
It's all across the Charminar.
It's all across Charminar, and it's if you like glitter, right? I purposely wore a glittery kind of shirt because Hyderabad is all about glitter. So the Natki work is very peculiar to our city. So you'll see a lot of the Natki and Zardozi, all of that is the richness of Hyderabad. And all of the places over there, you will get plenty of stuff, you know. But there are a couple of places that are must watch over there, which is the bazaars it's called Beum Bazar, but the Lard Bazaar and the Chudi Bazaar. And for women, you know, we just love bangles, right? And I think maybe Hyderabad is one place where we get the India's richest bangles. They're all made by Luck. You know Luck, right? Which you put in the gold jewelry and all. So all the bangles are made with it. But the peculiarity about that is they are embedded with stones. So, and you will be mind blown by the colors, the range of stones, right? And the vibrancy of the mix of the colors in the bangles. You can get monochrome colors, multicolors, and generally what they do is a bride, when they get married, they all pay a visit to Hyderabad with all the, you know, Shadi ke pure jode, they take all of them
to match.
And they go there and get all the matchings, you know, so it is like a must visit place. And for people like you all who are visiting, you don't need to take any clothes because you can get every color and you can pick every color that you want. And obviously you got to bargain. It's something, you know, very Indianish, you know, but definitely do visit those places. That's also an area where you can get a lot of souvenir gifts. You know, like you want to give return gifts for people and all. In those bazaars and gullies, you get the best of those. And I don't know, in Delhi, do they call gullies? In Hyderabad, we call the word gully a lot, you know. So those...
Gully means street, right?
Yes, street. And every street is filled with a stall. You know, there are like hundreds of stalls, you know. So those are definitely the must.
So around Charminar is all shopping.
Everything,
So you said Beum Bazar.
Beum Bazar,
So what is Beum Bazar known for?
So Beum Bazar, you know, Begums. So Nizams' wives were called Begums. So I think the historical sense to it is all of the Begums used to shop there, I suppose. So that whole area is called Beum Bazar. So in Beum Bazar, you get a lot of these... I wouldn't call them silver mixed, but you know the fake jewelry which looks like. So there is a particular store called Shingar. You know the Shingar Bindi that you get, that brand store, and nowadays people doing a lot of destination traveling and not everybody's carrying gold jewelry. So when you want to do that kind of shopping, but you want to get it at a very reasonable price, you would go over there and do all of that shopping. So it's like Hyderabad is like a woman's delight.
Oh, wow.
It's never ending, good stuff, and it is similar to the vibe, like I would say Delhi. But a little more glitzy, Yeah.
So a lot of glitter. And
a lot of glitter, glamour, and so much to see and do.
So much to see and do.
So we covered the heritage places. I would say these are all of the historical places. There is also the other stuff that I would say is there's a lot of eating places which we could do in segment part 2. But there some of these are very rich in terms of the vibe of the old city. You can get the same food of the same place in the newer city too. But it's the charm of doing stuff in the old city.
In the old city. So usually when people visit, so there must be a lot of hotels there and everything, right? So, nice hotels where you can stay. And traveling, obviously, is it mostly, what do you do for travel within the city? Do you Uber or is it something else?
So I would highly recommend you guys to stay in the new city. Not that anything is going to happen, but you get if you're visiting from America, I think we're all used to some amenities, right? So, and however much you want to see the culture of the town, you do want to live in a comfortable, great place. So if you're going for a wedding, I'm sure you're going to be with the wedding party. But if not, I would say all of the 5-star hotels are all part of the area where the Golconda golf course is. It's closer to that, So that's called the Banjara Hills, like Ruby Hills. It's called Banjara Hills, Jubilee Hills. So Jubilee Hills and Banjara Hills are all the area where you get the new end of the shopping. So the road number 10 and those, road number 36, all of that stuff is where you get the latest and greatest of the fashion. And obviously the prices also will be higher, but you get the trendy stuff. You can find almost all of these very popular designers, like say Versace has a stall over there. So most of this, Ritu Kumar, everybody is on that end where the 5-star hotels are. So if you want to do the shopping of that kind, then I would say, stay at one of the 5-star hotels and
so
just
it's convenient.
It's a lot of convenience, right? So one of the things about Hyderabad is every month you will have a couple of exhibitions. And this is exhibitions from all over the country. They come and have these exhibitions. So you'll have like hundreds of stalls, and you get amazing stuff to,
is it done in hotels or?
They're all held at hotels. So the Taj has one. So they have, they hold most of all of the exhibitions there. They have the Hi-Fi, High Life, the Taj exhibition. So many of the exhibitions happen over there. So, and I think if you're there and if there is an exhibition, and the way you to find out is you will see them in the newspapers. The hotel concierge will tell you. And when you're just driving, you will see all of the ads of the exhibitions everywhere on billboards. So you can just go and you shouldn't miss those. They're not native to Hyderabad, but Hyderabad offers that, flexibility for people to go and shop, wherever. And they're very prevalent, the exhibitions. So coming back to the other places to see. Now, so you're at the old city. I think if you have 4 places that you have to pick, then I've already covered those. Now you're going from the old city into the newer city. So you come to a place called Hussain Sagar. It's a man-made lake in the middle of the city. So it's in the middle of the new town and the old town. It's a massive lake.
It connects the two. It's kind of between.
It is right in between. And Hyderabad also has a lot of natural parks. You wake up in the morning. I know that, when we travel, We tend to wake up late. But if you get a chance, don't forget to go and explore these parks.
Okay.
There are 3 or 4 parks which are very popular.
Okay.
But I would recommend you guys to go to 2 parks at least. One is the KBR park.
Okay.
He's one of our chief ministers named K. Vijay Bhaskar. So he was the one, I think, who, inaugurated the park.
Okay.
There's also Lumbini Park. And there is a botanical garden. Botanical garden is the newest part of the city, which is in Gachibowli.
Okay.
That's where all of the people started to migrate and the high-tech industry is moving towards that.
Okay.
So there is a big high-tech arena. You will see, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Over there is Novotel and there is a Novotel exhibition. That's also a massive exhibition that happens where you can shop too.
Okay.
So in the middle of the city, there is this lake.
Okay.
So Hussain Sagar is supposed to be...
I love the name of it.
It's like a Hussain Sagar.
Like Sagar is like
it is Sagar
ocean,
is a lake, right? Yeah. It's a man-made lake. But Hussain is the name of it comes from the Nizams, right?
Yeah.
It's an amazing lake. And when we were kids, the only romantic spot that used to be is the Hussain Sagar and the Tank Bund. It's called the Tank Bund. I think the Bund is like a place to hold the water, maybe.
Okay.
And you will find all of the lovers used to be on that bund, basically. It's a huge road.
Okay.
They've really, really converted that road into, and on the right side of the road, you will see every Indian poet, not Indian, Andhra poet. All of the poets and all the well-known intellectual and political leaders, all of their statues on the right-hand side. That was reformed like in the last 15 years.
Okay.
That's how they amplified the whole tank bun. And you will see a lot of people selling you all of the chana, batanis and all of that.
Like a spot where people just go and hang out.
Yes, right. Hang out and everything.
Spend good quality time.
And I think in the last probably 25 years ago, they erected a really tall Buddha statue in the middle of the Hussain Sagar. So now you have a ferry ride that takes you from, the dock to the Hussain Sagar, to the middle of the Buddha statue.
Yeah.
So it's worth a visit, if you want to do something and if you have time.
More
these
activity.
are it's like a simple activity.
Or you can go shopping and the guys can go.
Yeah, the guys can go and do this.
Too,
little By the way, the guys have a lot to shop too, but definitely they can go and visit. Yeah,
that's a lot of places and like 10 to 12 days or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think you will have enough time because most of your time will be gone in shopping. But there's so much of richness, right?
Yeah.
So in the old city, Hyderabad was built on the Musi River.
Okay.
So by the Musi River, there is one of the most important things which I forgot to tell. It is, I think, the nation's number 3 or number 1 largest museum.
Okay, on the river.
Near the river.
Okay.
So it's by the river.
Okay.
It's very close to the Musi River. It's called the Salar Jung Museum.
Okay.
So Salar Jung, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the name of the person who had this passion to collect stuff.
Okay.
And the collectibles are not just from Hyderabad. It's ancient collectibles.
Okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think they have around close to 50,000 pieces of souvenirs, right?
Okay.
About 7,000 or 8,000 manuscripts.
Okay.
And another thousands of books.
Okay.
Everything is in a 2-floor story building called Salar Jung Museum.
Okay.
It is a must-visit place.
Okay.
So, imagine the passion of one person to collect all of these and then...
And preserve it too.
Preserve it too for so many years. You're talking about 400 years now.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is, amazing, right? Amazing history. And one of the main pieces, like how when you go to the Paris and you see the Musée de Louvre and you see Mona Lisa, in Salar Jung Museum, there is one lady, I think her name is Elizabeth. I can't recall her name, but she is a lady with a veil.
Oh.
And the veil is so transparent. It's made of marble.
Okay.
But it is so transparent where it's almost like the Italian architecture, right?
Okay.
Wherein you can see the plates and you can see her face through the marble.
Oh, wow.
So it is one of the, like how you see the Mona Lisa, you got to see her in that place, you know.
Okay.
I think it's built out of white marble, if I'm not mistaken.
The way it's probably carved in a delicate way.
Yes, and the whole museum is noteworthy. So you don't go to Hyderabad and miss that out because it's one of the most incredible. But of course, when you compare it, you may think, oh, it's only this much. But some of the segments of those are hidden. They don't allow us to go in. But the rest of it is noteworthy because, you know, we rarely visit places like this more than once.
Yeah.
So when you visit it, you make the best out of it, you know. So that when you say what are the top 10 things, and you've seen all those top things, and this is one of those.
Well, that's great, Pavani. You actually, I was actually transported there.
Oh,
literally, because I could see, like, you know, how passionate you are, and you know, it's your hometown,
right?
And you know, and you probably have seen it all, right?
Yes.
Over, you know.
Actually, I hate to say this, but I did not see Falaknuma Palace yet.
Oh.
So one of the goals is to go and have a dinner or lunch with my parents and my family over there. You know, my husband, my kids, and my mother-in-law, and everybody.
Yeah.
I hope to do it soon, but Falaknuma Palace is something that I have not seen. The rest I have.
So they have restaurants in the place.
Yeah, it's a Taj Hotel now.
So
you can have lunch, dinner, you book it. And there are also rooms over there. You can actually book the rooms and, you know, stay there too.
Okay, and you said people rent it out for destinations.
Yeah. It has like huge amount of grounds where you can just like, you know, go around and it's an amazing place.
Yeah. I can barely wait to visit
Hyderabad. You should. You know?
Yeah, and I'm so excited to go and see all the places that you mentioned. And especially was the Charminar and the old town feeling. I think you know, that's something you know, sounds very interesting.
Yes.
And then also all the you know, the lake that you mentioned,
Hussain
Sagar. The Hussain Sagar.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to make a list of places so that, you know, I don't miss anything.
Yeah. But if you are religious, I would say you add 2 things.
Okay.
One is the Birla Mandir.
Okay.
You know how Birlas instituted the mandirs everywhere. So they constructed this. It's called Naubat Pahad. Okay. You know, every heritage place will have a Muslim name to it.
Yeah.
So it's a Naubat Pahad. It's a marble temple, completely marble temple. It's on a mountain hilltop.
Okay.
It's a must go.
Okay.
Go in the evening, or in the early morning because it gets really hot.
Yeah, the marble gets very hot on this.
And then there is also a Jagannath temple. It's near Jubilee Hills. Amazing temple. A lot of intricate artwork.
Okay.
You know, so I would say, you know, if you have time, go visit some spirituality.
Oh, that's good. Good to do everything. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's thanks for joining me today, Pavani.
Oh no, my pleasure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, and literally I was transported there, and I was in the middle of Charminar, imagining myself what to do, where to go first.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
If you want to talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.